Although anime has a number of different genres within it, the main one that fans seem to enjoy is the shonen category. After all, what's not to like about high-octane action, gruesomely bloody violence, and insanely powerful weapons that can kill enemies in excruciating and unique ways? The extreme brutality on show is one of the main appealing parts of the genre. While there are plenty of amazing weapons to go around, it's fair to say that not every one of them is created equally. After all, how many times have we seen characters with something that seems unbeatable get outshone by someone with a weapon that is bigger, badder, and far more devastating? With so many shonens out, it's difficult to figure out which weapon truly is the creme de la creme, which is why we found the 10 best and ranked them on their level of devastation. From insanely powerful uns that can blow a target into oblivion, to swords that have sliced and diced countless foes, creating a death toll that could only be classified as a massacre, these weapons were caused to create nothing but absolute chaos and destruction. My name's Ori, this is What Culture, and these are the 10 most powerful weapons in anime history. Number 10, Attack on Titan, vertical maneuvering equipment. Anyone who has watched Attack on Titan knows that the enemies in the show are some of the most dangerous and brutal we've ever seen in anime. Giant-sized, mindless, and with a never-ending need to devour human beings, the Titans can and will destroy everything standing in their path. With an enemy as vicious as that, the protagonists of the show need some form of equalizer to help them defeat them, which is how the vertical maneuvering equipment comes into play. Created by the Eldians living inside of the walls, it's nearly perfect in its ability to help humans kill Titans. Strapped to soldiers of the Paradis army, the device gives them far more mobility than they would have normally. It also allows them to attack the only weak spot a Titan has, the nape of their neck, with the swords attached to the equipment. This results in some extremely badass kills, especially from Attack on Titan fan favorite Captain Levi. Number 9, Outlaw Star, Castagun. Some anime fans might push their nose up when Outlaw Star is brought up, especially if they were in the United States or the UK, where it was heavily edited due to its overly sexual content in certain episodes. However, those who have seen the unedited version will know that it is actually quite a fun and interesting sci-fi show. Starring main character Gene Starwind and his ragtop group of space pirates, we follow them as they search for the galactic ley line and the information held within it. They're not the only ones searching for it though, meaning there's plenty of action during the show, especially when Gene brings out his Castagun. While it might not look like anything special, these guns are actually incredibly rare and dangerous. The Castagun doesn't shoot regular bullets at enemies. Instead, it holds magical shells that can cause catastrophic damage to whoever it's targeted against. These weapons and the ammunition used inside of them are sparse in the world of Outlaw Star, as people no longer use magic to battle. This means that when Gene brings it out, we're in for an exceptional battle scene with a savage weapon. Number 8, Trigun, the Punisher. If you're going to name your gun of choice something as intimidating as the Punisher, then it better live up to its title. In the case of much-loved 90s anime Trigun, the Punisher definitely lives up to its name, and it's certainly one of the most brutal weapons on the list. Firstly, the Punisher might be the most formidable looking weapon ever conceived. At around 5'7", weighing 300 pounds and shaped like a gigantic cross, there truly has never been anything like it. Within that giant frame are a multitude of weapons, but not every version of the Punisher is the same, with each of them having their own unique flair. The most famous version of the Punisher is used by one of the main characters of Trigun, Nicholas D. Wolfwood. His version of the weapon has a rocket launcher at the back of it with a machine gun in the front. It also holds 8 high-powered pistols just in case a rocket launcher and machine gun wasn't enough to seal the deal. Honestly, this is the anime equivalent of El Mariachi bringing out the guitar case filled with guns, and it's just as cool. Number 7, HELLSING, 30mm JACKAL. Anyone who has watched HELLSING knows that the action sequences are some of the best you'll find in any anime. The character of Alucard is brilliantly violent and wields a gun with such glee that you can't help but love him. Although the vampire has an abundance of weapons at his disposal, one of, if not, the most powerful guns in his arsenal is the JACKAL. Despite being a handgun, the JACKAL is a devastating weapon and has been used to defeat some of the anime's most vicious antagonists. For example, when Alucard struggled to defeat one of his main foes, Alexander Anderson, with his normal weapons, due to Anderson's regenerative ability, the JACKAL was able to do what his other weapons couldn't. The sheer power from the gun blew numerous parts off of Anderson's body before he could regenerate properly in a particularly bloody battle. Although extremely powerful and arguably Alucard's greatest weapon, the gun is actually fitted with an explosion by its its creator and was detonated during the Siege of London. While it didn't last the entire series, it certainly came in useful during the battles Alucard used it in, and will go down as his most devastating weapon. Number 6. Bleach, Zangetsu. As one of the most popular animes of all time, Bleach has a loyal following of fans who love the epic battles that the Soul Reapers get themselves into. Part of the enjoyment of this is seeing them utilize their unique swords, otherwise known as a Zanpakuto. While a Zanpakuto might look like an ordinary sword, the ones owned by high-ranking Soul Reapers have special abilities. In the case of the show's main character, Ichigo Kurosaki, his Zanpakuto, also known as Zangetsu, is quite a bit different from others wielded by fellow Soul Reapers. Zangetsu is formed utilizing Soul Reaper and Hollow powers, making it a completely unique weapon compared to what everyone else has. Admittedly, Zangetsu's special ability isn't the flashiest. That accolade belongs to the captain of the 6th Division, Byakuya Kushiki. However, what it lacks in aesthetically pleasing finishing moves, it makes up for with the exceptionally destructive Getsuga Tensho. By releasing a burst of powerful energy from the tip of his blade, Ichigo has wiped out many of his foes using this move. As the anime goes on, we watch as Ichigo's power increases, making the attack even more devastating than we first imagined. Number 5. AKAME ga Kill, Murasame. One of the biggest problems with the shonen genre is that it is just so prolific. It's nearly impossible to catch every great action adventure that is brought out, so sadly, a fair few people will have missed out on the brilliant AKAME ga Kill. Not only was it an extremely fun watch, the main protagonist, Akame, and her incredibly powerful sword, Murasame, are a sight to behold. A long curved black blade, Murasame is an incredibly visually appealing weapon. However, its beauty hides its lethal power, as a mere prick of it will poison the person it has struck. That's right, even the slightest nick from this sword will put a countdown on its target's life. If the affected area isn't amputated within seconds, the poison will attack the target's heart and kill them. That isn't the only special power of Murasame though. If the person wielding it can withstand its poisonous effect, it will enhance their speed and strength, making an already dangerous swordswoman like Akame even more formidable than she seemed when she's first introduced. Number 4. Dominator, Psychopath. While every other weapon on this list has one motive: kill everything in sight, the Dominator actually has 3 options available. Used by the officers of the Public Safety Bureau, the Dominator is a multi-purpose weapon that is perfect for any and all scenarios. It all depends on what information the target's psychopath, which is sort of like an ID card that determines how crazy you are, says after the details have been authenticated by the Sybil system. The Sybil system determines whether the target's crime coefficient, the index used to determine how dangerous an enemy is, lands in one of these 3 categories: non-lethal paralyzer, lethal eliminator, destroy decomposer. While the non-lethal paralyzer easily subdues a target, the other 2 options are where things get crazy. When shot at a target, lethal eliminator mode instantly kills them, but in an incredibly grotesque manner. We're talking body parts swelling up and exploding everywhere. Ugh, gross. The destroy decomposer is used for those with armor or vehicles, but that doesn't mean it isn't used on human beings though. In the instances we've seen it used on human targets, it's completely evaporated them, leaving very little, if any, trace of their bodies. Number 3. Berserk, Dragon Slayer. Considered by many as one of the most violent and action-heavy seinens of all time, Berserk has always had a particularly brutal way of portraying people being killed during battle. The show's main protagonist, Guts, is as dangerous with a sword as they come, slicing and dicing apostles of the God Hand, evil spirits, and various other bad guys. However, when you're a warrior like Guts and have been bred from a young age to be one of the most ruthless swordsmen ever, it only makes sense to have a sword that matches his level of expertise. That's where the legendary Dragon Slayer comes in. Not only does it have a badass name, it's got certain qualities about it that make it one of the most unique weapons in the entire series. Crafted by a blacksmith called Goddo, the Dragon Slayer is such a ridiculously large weapon that many believed it was unusable. However, Guts was somehow able to pick it up and use it, smashing through enemies in devastating fashion. Dragon Slayer becomes even more impressive when Guts turns on his berserker armor, destroying everyone in his path. While it might seem an absurd weapon to use due to the size of it, when placed in Guts' hands, it's clearly one of the most destructive forces in anime. Number 2. Fate Stay Night, Sword of Rupture, Aya. If you've watched any of the Fate Stay Night series, you'll know when it comes to awesome looking and extremely powerful swords, there are plenty of them. However, if we had to pick the one weapon that outshines them all, it would have to be the Sword of Rupture Ea. The Ea is considered to be the strongest of all the noble phantasms shown during the Fate series, and it makes sense when you see its devastating power utilized by Gilgamesh. Although it's seen by many as a sword, its actual creation predates the concept of what we think a sword is. It's a uniquely special weapon that is nearly unstoppable. Although it can be used as a close quarters weapon, its most powerful attack is the Enema Elish, the star of creation that split heaven and earth. This ridiculous move can not only destroy all enemies within its range with a single strike, if its power is fully unleashed, it can quite easily destroy the world it's in. Even in an anime filled with weapons with insane abilities, the Ea truly is one of a kind. And number 1, Death Note. Death Note. As impressive as guns like the Punisher or swords like Dragon Slayer are, when it came to the most powerful weapon in anime history, the most lethal of all is clearly Light Yagami's Death Note. While it isn't as flashy as some of the other weapons on the list, it's certainly the most effective and leaves very little, if any, evidence of its use. All the owner needs to do is write the name of a person they want to die in the book and it will be done. Usually, this little black book of terror is used by a Shinigami to take a human life so their own lifespan can increase. Seems simple, right? Well, while Shinigami are the ones who usually use a Death Note, as we see in the anime, it can also be given to a human, and that's when things get really dangerous. When given the chance to kill without any consequences, the ultimate power that comes with that seems to corrupt non-Shinigamis who use it. You can see this with Light and Misa Amane, the two human characters who are given Death Notes. While Light originally used it for killing criminals, the death toll continued to rise, meaning innocents lost their lives too. It might look exceptionally cool to be able to blow a hole through someone, or have the ability to carve them up into little pieces. However, there is something exceptionally ruthless and vicious about the Death Note, and we've yet to see anything similar since. And there is my list of the 10 most powerful weapons in anime history. Did I miss any out from your favorite anime? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to What Culture for more great content. My name's Ori with an A, and thanks for listening. And until next time, be good, and if you can't be good, be careful.